Do you really trust your team? Do you have faith in them doing the right things? I want to talk more about that today. Hey, welcome back. Jeff Heggie, Daily Success Strategies. Thanks for being with me today. Hope you had a great weekend. We got a great week ahead of us. Today, what I want to talk about is the trust that you have in your team. Do you put your faith in them that they're going to do the right thing for you and your business? But first of all, it's Monday, same thing we talk about every Monday. We've got to talk accountability. This is something we should be talking about every single day, and that's what we do in our accountability groups. But you've got to at least be thinking about it weekly. So what is it you have to do this week so that on Friday you can look back and say, 1, it's been a successful week. 2, you're closer to your bigger goals. And be accountable to it. Figure out what that is that you have to do towards that bigger goal. If you don't have clearly defined written out goals, go to jeffhaggie.com/peak performance and go through that process. Figure out your goals, figure out your why, all of that. But if you're watching or listening to this on social media, leave me a comment, send me a DM, or even better, get yourself an accountability group, a partner, a coach, whatever it is, to hold you accountable to do those things every single day. All right, so I often get asked about my entrepreneurial journey and how that led me to become a coach. And so I want to tell you a little bit. I talk a lot about my manufacturing company, my banking experience, those sort of things, but I want to tell you a little bit about that. When I left the banking industry and started my own rock company, a company making artificial stone veneer, it was because one of my friends, and it was actually a banking client at the time, was building homes, and I was sitting with him, and we decided, this is something we could do. And it turned into something that ended up being a great company for 16 years. We ran this incredible company and so many learning experiences along the way. We went through the crash of 08-09, we hit the pandemic, and we had to shut our doors during the pandemic. So we went through a lot of struggles, learned a lot of things. And, I was always trying to get to the position where we could compete with the big guys. Some of our competition were companies like Owens Corning, and we were always trying to get to that national networking scale. And it was difficult. We had a lot of problems along the way. Like I said, when 2008 hit, we were big up and down the East Coast at that time, and that all ended in 2009. But I was optimistic. We had a great team. We had great people involved in it, and we were doing some really great things. And so we were really trying to build back up and become a national player. But as we were trying to do our expansion plan, as we were growing in Canada, all of those different things, COVID hit and everything fell apart. And we did end up closing our doors through the pandemic, unfortunately. But there was a lot of things that I learned throughout that time. And one of those was that I loved mentoring people, that I loved coaching people. And I remember there was a lot of times we would be sitting in a meeting, myself and one of my partners, Dave Olson, and we'd be talking about, this experience has to be documented. It has to go in the book. It's got to be something that we teach other people, because either one, it was a tough lesson that we learned that we could help people avoid the same mistakes, or 2, it was a victory that why not share that? Why not help someone get to their victory sooner? And there's a lot of different things that we identified along the way that made me know that I wanted to share those experiences with other entrepreneurs to help them along their entrepreneurial journey. And so as we did these things, and as I learned more things, I was able to share those. And through other businesses I've been involved with and my real estate and different things, there's a lot of things I've learned through my entrepreneurial journey that have been very applicable to other people that I work with. But what I thought I would do this week is I wanted to share some stories from running different businesses that I think are beneficial to help other people that might be in the same spot, that might be able to hear a story and think, that's kind of the position I'm in. Whether it's you're going from, I've got a side hustle and I want to take it to the next level, or you've been in business for a number of years. What I did in that company in the first years compared to the 16th year were very different. And so one of the things I want to share today is the trust you have in your team. For one, if you have a team that you can't trust, you've got the wrong team. As Jim Collins says, you've got to get the right people on the bus and the wrong people off the bus. If you can't trust your team, you've got to readdress who's on your team. You've got to get to the point where you can trust them. As we built this company, when we started, I did everything. I did everything from building the tables in the factory, to going to Missouri, to learning how to do the manufacturing, to being in the production, to being in the sales, to being in the shipping, to doing everything. And what I learned is there was a lot of times it was hard to let go of some of those things. But as we grew, I was forced to. But the thing I learned was, as I started putting trust in other people to take over some of the things that I couldn't do by myself anymore, when they could focus on those things that I was only putting a little bit of my effort into, they could do a much better job than I could. And as I reflect on this topic, I got thinking about the production. It started out, I was the one that learned it. I had to share it with the people I trained and showed them how to do the manufacturing. If I look at that from day one, compared to where we ended, the people that were in the production part of things, they ended up knowing so much more about production than I did, and we did it so different than how we began. From the automation to the things we had to do for environmental testing, for engineering, all of those things, that if I would have walked in, even in the 10th year, and said, okay, I'm going to take over the production again, I wouldn't have been able to do it and been able to produce as good of a product as they were producing. I had to put my trust in those people to be able to do those things. Even in the sales and operations side of things, I had some people in my Canadian office that were just outstanding at what they did, that they were better at what they did than if I would have tried taking it over. And I had to, not only did I have to put my trust into them, I wanted to put my trust into them because they were great people doing the best that they could do with what they had. And so I think that's one of the biggest lessons you can learn is, I talk a lot about who, not how. Who is it that can help you accomplish your goals? Who do you have to have on your team? Who can help you accelerate your success? I even talked about it last week. I don't know if it was in one of the podcasts or in one of my reels, that getting a mentor, getting a coach can speed up your success. So who is that person that can do it? When I look at my manufacturing, I had Stanton in my factory. He was the guy that was leading the production. He was the expert there. I had Red that was running the operations and things in Canada. He was the expert there. I put my trust in them and they did an extraordinary job. And so look at what you're trying to do. Find out who it is that's going to help you accelerate what you're doing. Even from the coaching perspective, I learned all the manufacturing, but when we started doing it, we started looking at how do we take our product to the next level. I didn't have that answer. That's when we brought in coaches or mentors to help us figure out what we needed to do things differently. So look at the who, not how. Go get Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan's book called Who, Not How. It's a great book, and it's really got some great stories in there to really make you think from an entrepreneurial perspective of what you need to be doing. Because as entrepreneurs, we're always thinking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? And if you can start thinking, who can help me do this? You're going to have a brand new perspective on it. But you've got to be able to put trust in people if you're going to be looking for that who. And so that's one of the biggest lessons, I think, as an entrepreneur and a business owner. You've got to put the people in place that you want to put that trust in, that you have full confidence that you can do that, and that you can give them that trust and be okay with it when they screw up, because they are going to screw up at times. And if they're too scared to screw up because of how you're going to react, then you've got to work on that too, because you've got to give them the freedom and ability to do their job without being scared of screwing up. Because if you really want to be successful, if you really want to grow, there's going to be screw ups. And so give them that freedom, give them that trust, and you're going to see things go a lot further, a lot quicker. All right, thanks for being with me. I look forward to sharing more stories with you this week. I do have another business domination challenge coming up this week. So if you haven't signed up for it yet, make sure go get signed up for it. It's going to start on Wednesday. It's going to be a great challenge this week. So get signed up. Go to jeffheggie.com/business domination. You won't regret it. It's going to be great. Thanks for being with me. I'll be back tomorrow. Og Mandino said that the difference between those who have failed and those who have succeeded lies in the difference of their habits. Good habits are the keys to success. Many of the habits that'll bring you success in life are easy to do, but they're also easy not to do. I developed the Mindset Journal so that I could easily implement powerful success habits into my daily routine. The power of the Mindset Journal comes from knowing your top priorities and scheduling them into your day. the power of the reticular activating system and its relationship to your goals, your mindset questions, and your daily accountability. So if you want to implement some quick and effective success habits into your daily routine, go to jeffheggie.com/mindset journal and get yours today. You're an entrepreneur who wants to discover the breakthrough secrets that will produce the results you've been searching for, but you just can't seem to figure out why you keep working harder and harder and you're just not getting those results? I want to tell you about a new challenge that I've created just for you, the Business Domination Challenge. If you want to create the entrepreneurial lifestyle and the business you dream of, then this is exactly what you're looking for. I created the Business Domination Challenge to show you how to grow your business exponentially and to become an optimal performing entrepreneur. What's an optimal performing entrepreneur? It's an entrepreneur who's succeeding in all areas of their life. If I show you how to build a successful business, but your relationships, your health, and everything else is falling apart, that's not a success. It's not about working harder, it's about implementing the correct principles and becoming the person who can do the things that produce the results. Hurry and go to jeffheggie.com/business domination and secure your spot today.